Hi everybody, Tori here today with a scrapbooking process video. It's been so long, I'm so sorry, but I'm back and I'm making things and I can't wait to share them. This layout is kind of meticulous, and it took me a really long time to make it. But I love the way that it worked out. It's kind of quilt inspired. I just started following this amazing quilt designer on Instagram, and now I'm trying to think of what her name is, but she is super talented and makes these crazy awesome quilts, and now I will have no clue what her name is, but I'm gonna try to figure it out, and if I remember what it is, then I will let you know. But she's super crazy talented quilt, and if I don't remember to tell you, I will leave a comment in the comments section. Oh man, I should have thought this before I started. Okay, anyways, she had this like really awesome quilt kind of thing where she had woven fabric together in strips, and it was so inspiring that I couldn't like not make a layout inspired by her quilt or her fabric weaving. It just was so pretty. So I looked through my papers, and I actually, when I made this layout, I didn't have any Felicity Jane kits left, and I was like, what do I do? I don't have anything to scrap. And then I realized, like, I have a huge stash, and I should probably just use that. So I pulled 3 different papers from my stash, and one of them was a Studio Calico one from an old kit, and then there was a couple crepe paper ones there, I think. Sorry, can't remember the names, and they're really old, so you probably wouldn't be able to find them anymore anyways. And then what I did was I cut 3 pieces of paper down into strips of paper, and I just used my cutting board to cut them all. And by the way, the strips of paper are like 1 centimeter wide, 1 centimeter wide, or 1/4 of an inch. And then what I'm going to do is I was trying to figure out how I would weave them together, so I decided to like line them up on my board and tape them all down, tops and bottoms, and then that didn't really work, so I ended up having to pull up the tape later on the bottom. But this was how I started. So I laid them all out until I got 12 by 12, and this is when I figured out that having tape on the bottom was not a good idea. It made it too difficult, so I'm going to end up taking off the tape. But yeah, so I lined it all out so that I could have the 12 by 12 size, and then I end up taking the tape off so that I can actually do it. I guess I took the tape off the top. It's funny, I thought I did it the other way. Okay, anyways, whatever. And now I am going to begin the weaving process. I know that the voiceover for this is like really bad, and I'm so sorry. I feel like I've forgotten how to do voiceovers. Is that a thing? Like, can that happen? I haven't done voiceovers in so long that I honestly feel like I've forgotten how to do it, because I just don't know what to talk about. And I keep saying which is not good. And normally I don't think I say it that often. So I'm sorry if this feels weird to you guys. So I'll do better. I promise. So here I am weaving, and basically the way I wove this, ooh, look at that, I used grammar. The way that I wove this was, I guess, I was trying to do 2 over, 2 under, 2 over, 2 under, and then I got confused. So you can literally see my thought process here as I go, how do I do this? How do I do this 2 over, 2 under? And I eventually figured it out, but 2 over, 2 under. And it looks like I have a lot more pieces of pattern paper than I actually do. The nice thing about these papers is they have 2 sides, right? So I purposely picked papers that I like the colors from both sides on because I figured then they would go well together. And the way that I kind of decided which papers to go with is I really like that one paper that you're seeing there, the one with the feathers that's all cut up. And then when I picked the 2 other pieces of paper, I tried to pick papers that I thought would look nice with those feathers, because that was kind of the color scheme for this. And this definitely looks more fall-y than spring and summer, but that's okay. I'm actually scrapbooking a photo from February, so I feel like it's okay that it looks more fall-y because it is more wintry kind of. So here we go. I wove it 2 over 2 under, 2 over 2 under, almost all the way up. And then I wanted to do something similar to how this girl on Instagram did hers. And she kind of had like another piece of fabric in there, I think. So what I did was I grabbed another paper and I am going through the woven pieces, 1 over, 1 under, 1 over, 1 under. I really hope that makes sense. But you can sort of see it there. And I also skipped every other one. And I was going to go back the other way, but then it wasn't working. It didn't look how I wanted to look. So I'm going to go through again 1 over, 1 under with another piece of paper so that it kind of rotates. I really hope I'm explaining this. If I'm not explaining well, then maybe you could pause the video and it would help. But basically you see the horizontal lines, and I'm going 1 over, 1 under, 1 over, 1 under horizontally and skipping patterns vertically. It was kind of fun. I just sort of turned on a movie and sat there and watched the movie while I did this with my pad and papers. And then it's kind of tight, so I was able to glue down the edges of all of them. So I sort of just went along and glued down the edges to hold it together. And I decided afterwards that I didn't want a whole 12 by 12 page of just woven pieces like this. So I ended up only doing about, I would say, 3/4 of the page. It's probably about 9 by 12. And then I'm just trimming off the extra little pieces. I wanted to make it so it wasn't so perfect on all the edges. I didn't want it to line up perfectly. I wanted the strips to be different lengths. So with my scissors, I'm just trimming, as you can see, at different variables along the way there. Sometimes when you're creating, you're like, oh, I have this awesome idea. I'm going to do this thing. And so then you kind of like, you do it, and then while you're doing it, you're like, well, this took a lot longer than it probably needed to. But that's okay, because it's all part of the process of creating and finding yourself and figuring out what you like and what works. So there you can see my photo, and it's from February this past year. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that giant woven piece down to this cream colored cardstock. And that's where I'm going to build my base for my photo. Now originally I had wanted to put the photo like right on there, but it was super busy. Like there's something about all that wovenness which is really cool, but it's also really busy, so I felt like I needed something to just kind of like calm it down. So I grabbed this like mesh bag that I had, and I kind of folded it up a little bit. I ruffled the edges, as you can see I'm doing right there. And you can do that by just like pulling some of the strings and pulling at the edges. And then I'm going to lay my photo on top of that like mesh bag. And I think it's kind of cool because to me it looks a little bit like I have this woven fabric underneath, which is the paper, and then I'm actually using fabric in the layout, which is kind of fun. And then I wanted to just give my photo a frame, so I grabbed this pink cardstock that I had in my stash, and I just framed created a mat for my photo, and then I'm going to glue that right onto the fabric there. And that's where I'm going to stick kind of my main photo and embellishments and things. I don't end up doing a ton of journaling or a ton of anything crazy on this layout because I feel like the woven in the background is a lot going on, so I wanted to keep the rest of the layout fairly simple. So these are the ladies from my Tuesday night Bible study, all the team leaders, and we had taken a picture together at our leaders meeting on Saturday, and I just wanted to kind of throw that on the layout. And then I thought it would be fun to just add some details to the top and the bottom of the page because I just felt like it didn't look finished. So I just grabbed my black precision pen and I'm just doing some tick lines along the top and the bottom. And that's kind of a fun thing to do if you feel like you need something at the top of the bottom but you don't want it to be crazy busy. It just kind of tied the two together and sort of framed the layout. Also, it looks a little bit like sewing lines, I felt like, and because it's kind of woven and it looks like fabric, I thought it'd be cute to have like actual sewing lines. Also, if you know how to use a sewing machine, you totally could have sewn instead of hot glued that background, and it actually would look really cool. I just don't know how to use my sewing machine. And by that I mean, yes, I have a sewing machine, I just don't know how to use it. So I added that banner, that florally, it's not really florally, but it's like wavy, to put the title Digging Deeper, which is the name of our Bible study, and then a tab on the side to add the date. And then I'm just going through some of the like die cuts and labels I have just sitting on my desk all the time. They're from previous kits and whatever, to just figure out what to put there. And I have no clue why I put that ampersand there. It just really matched all the colors really pretty, and I thought, where else am I going to use this? So I just kind of stuck it on there. And now I'm trying to figure out what to do for a title, and I decided to just do CBS, which is Community Bible Study, which is the type of Bible study that we have, and I just put that in the top left-hand corner. And now I wanted to finish the layout with something simple, so I just grabbed a couple of buttons from my stash. I love buttons, you know this about me. And that's it. The layout is done. I finished. What am I going to do now? Oh, I guess I was just feeling like the CBS was blending into background, so I'm just going to outline it. Other than that, the layout is done. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye!